So, what do you do?
I'm an annoyance to my superiors, a joke to my peers. They call me
ML Lowery.
I'm the key figure in an ongoing
Podcast.
The plot to conceal the truth
That Shawn Windsor is
extraterrestrial.
Well, I would say that about does it, Spooky.
It's mutated. Into what?
The soul of Detroit.
You asked it around your Detroit, around my face. It's gone.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on.
That is not paid for by them. That is paid for by the people of Detroit.
You might be qualified, ML.
I'm not qualified for this job.
Let me tell you something. You want to go right now? Okay? You want to go right now?
Hey kids, it's your old pal, ML, coming to you from the new Red Shovel Studios, which are really the old Red Shovel Studios, but they are being upgraded because you know we spare no expense to bring you the greatest in podcasting, from terrific audio to outstanding video, which if you're one of our soulmates, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because for just $5 a month, you get to watch the show as well as get our bonus episodes. New one coming soon. We're playing catch up for August, but hang in there. Give us a little grace. We'll get it to you.
I like that you said new but not improved. You just said new.
Yeah. Well, it shall be improved. It's a work in progress.
It is very much a work in progress. Meanwhile, I don't sleep over it, but it's a work in progress.
Yeah, but
a lot of cooks in this kitchen.
There's more room in here, which
is nice.
The cameras are better. I think you're gonna have more camera angles. You get to see the back of Shawn's head now, which is
the amazing thing is
the best view.
You actually have the same exact camera you had last time.
Oh dear. Okay.
I'm not even using the new cameras for this show. That's how whacked out things are right now.
So what you're telling me is it's going to get much better. So if you've enjoyed the show, you're about to be,
I don't know about much,
treated to an orgiastic visual feast. Isn't that what the installer said?
Sounds disgusting.
Yeah. Well, there's a basement with glass block windows and a commode of uncertain origin. So yeah, but we're here and missing. We kind of went with the X-Files because we know they're out there somewhere, Shawn and Erika. But they're not here. Erika is, of course, working at WDIV Channel 4. Catch her on the news. She should be back soon. And Shawn is on the disabled list, but he hopes to be back soon. He was playing last week, hurt. Watched the Spartans with a fairly impressive first half, second half of some concern. And I think he probably had Saturday off, and the other crew, Tony Garcia and the boys at the Free Press, watched Marc's Wolverines have a fairly interesting game with, is it the Lobos?
Yeah, New Mexico. New Mexico Lobos.
With New Mexico, and in the end, it seemed like they pulled away. But
no, it was never close.
Wasn't it 17-10 at the half?
Yeah, but it was 17.
That's
were they within a score?
By definition, close. Yeah, I think they had a touchdown.
I don't think anybody was ever worried.
Yeah.
They were up 17-0.
Yeah,
some questionable refereeing and coaching decisions.
Of course. The Wolverines. It's not a Wolverines game if they don't get jobbed.
Did you see
if the coaches aren't doing something questionable?
You mean Barnum? Did you see that targeting call?
The coaches weren't doing something questionable. Okay, that is new. I didn't. I was watching.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I was watching some of the game at the Rustic Cabins in Grosse Pointe Park, which has kind of become the Capistrano, I guess I would say, of Grosse Pointe South High School graduates. And so the owner, Harold Conlon, was behind the bar wearing a Michigan polo shirt buttoned all the way to the top and a Michigan hat pressed all the way down, looking very much like a svelte Jim Harbaugh, while we rehashed old times. And half of us cheered for the Lobos and half of the others cheered for the Wolverines, because you have a pretty good split between the class of 85 with the Michigan Wolverines and the Spartans. But the one thing that everybody of our vintage has in common is we find that most of our kids would find it almost impossible to go to the schools that we went to because the admissions are now so difficult. Every kid seems to get deferred. Every kid either waits and transfers or goes in the spring or gets pissed off and goes to a Jesuit college in Cincinnati or Chicago or someplace else where they get hefty scholarships and have a lot of fun, because Chicago's nice.
Good. So your reunion was good?
It was.
Yeah.
It was. And looking back on the past, before we get to that, I should tell you about planning for the future with Luke Nowacki, who can help you come up with a plan, because you need a plan unless you want to work until your 60th high school reunion, which I trust none of us want to do. We were competing with the Caju Cafe, which had the Muscle Beach Music Festival, which is always a great time. I missed it because I was at my high school reunion, which was at the Country Club of Detroit, which is in Grosse Pointe, which is kind of weird when you think about it.
Fancy.
Yeah, and all the tips I provided to the wait staff came from our Patreon supporters, the Soulmates, whose contributions not only keep the show coming back week after week, but they support local bartenders. So we appreciate it when you sign up and get all the great perks that you get, which is that pride of being a part of this ship
You're really
of fools.
doing a hell of a job selling it there.
I'm looking
There's
around.
a lot
I'm kind of
special things.
I'm kind of distracted. If you're watching
I know.
us,
You know what's funny? Okay.
everybody's eyes are in a different direction because there are lights in the ceiling. There are
A little inside show here. I always turn off the television because you find it very distracting, and for some reason it was left on. So I think I need to turn it off.
No, I'm not. That's I think Stephen A. Smith.
I'm still going to turn it off.
Who I don't care about, but it's really distracting when you come in here and Brandon's getting the show ready because he's watching any quality of tawdry videos to get ready for the Drew Lane show.
It can be kind of a zoo, yeah.
Which we like to support here. We like to support, sort of the undercard here. We love underdogs, and that little Drew Lane show. Someday I think they're going to catch on.
I feel like it's an underdog right now.
I think they're going to catch it. Technically, it is a challenge.
Big time.
But yeah, it was a jam-packed weekend. I went up to East Lansing, had my first class, first football game. Then Saturday was the high school, getting together some high school friends. Then Sunday was the reunion. And then Monday I went to go see the Hamtramck Yacht Races, and then went back at night to see Gangster Fun after listener Mike kind of turned us on to them as sort of a OG ska group from Detroit. And I actually ran into Mike at the show, which was great. He came up and said, hey, and it's always good to put a name with a face. And especially since his Twitter avatar is Kermit the Frog. So he looks nothing like his avatar, I'm happy to report. But good show, great. Hamtramck just, I'm usually in Muskegon for Labor Day with my in-laws, but man, Hamtramck was hopping all weekend long. Is really something.
So is Royal Oak.
Arts Beats and Eats.
Insane.
Yeah,
it's crazy because I feel like everybody goes away for Labor Day, goes up north, goes wherever,
right.
East Lansing, Ann Arbor, but yet these giant festivals around here get jam-packed, so.
Well, it's you refugees, man. And
I was told by someone that the least watched day of television is the Friday before Labor Day weekend. Is that true? Do you know any truth to that?
Friday before Labor Day. I know that ratings are typically low, at least in local news on Fridays, which is why people like, get the bell ready, Kwame Kilpatrick released the news about his high school friends embezzling from the mayor's petty cash fund at like 4:30 on a Friday when everybody was leaving City Hall because they thought, well, we have to acknowledge it, but let's do it at a time when no one will be watching or listening or paying attention, and all the reporters who may make this a front page story at that point had just the Saturday paper, or we're going home and be like, shit, it's not that big a deal. I got to get out of here. It's the weekend. So that is a strategic time to release bad news. And I think there was some major bad news in the last year or so that was released out of D.C. on a Friday afternoon that was kind of embarrassing to either Biden or Trump. I can't remember who it was, but they put it out on a Friday afternoon. Like, that's very, very strategic.
I think it was Biden. I thought was it a health thing? I don't know.
Let's put it this way. They both have plenty to hang their head over. And
but with politics, that agenda never stops moving. So Friday, it's going to carry off through the weekend.
Yeah,
people will tweet,
and although the thing is with those Sunday news shows, they're all booked. They've got their guests lined up, so they have to tear it all up. People hate doing that. And when Devin Skillion did Flashpoint, he would typically record it earlier in the week, like maybe Thursday. And if some big news happened, you'd get a call from Devin saying, hey, sorry, you're not going to be on the air this Sunday. We had to redo Flashpoint because something really newsy happened, and we had to get that on for Sunday. So if you're really committed to the latest, greatest news like Devin always was, when big news happens on Friday, like, oh, shit, all our plans just went right in the crapper.
That sucks.
But Monday's a big day. for TV news. It's kind of a news desert. So if you have a big story, you want to promote it on Friday throughout the weekend and get it ready to drop on Monday. And I'm told the same thing with newspapers. Monday is a great day for web traffic because people are back to work. They're probably looking at their computers at the office and, kind of catching up and maybe trying to ease into the week by saying, I don't really want to work, but I'm at work. So let me see what interesting things I can find online. So, and it feels like a Monday. It's Tuesday as we're recording this, but it totally feels like a Monday, which means Friday's going to get here real fast.
I feel like every day is just run together for me, man.
Well, you've been working all weekend.
Just
I mean,
nonstop,
you're in Ann Arbor. You told me you were not worried about what you saw, so that's good. I read that Bryce Underwood is the real deal. Is that your assessment?
Oh, I think so.
Really?
I mean, he's got to have a higher ceiling. I mean, 21 to 31 touchdown. He played well. They didn't do much with him. Some questionable throws. He'll probably get picked off against Oklahoma because they have a good D and he'll make a mistake.
Okay.
But very encouraging. I mean, far more encouraging, I think, than maybe Arch Manning, which seems ridiculous how much everyone's piling on him.
Did you watch that Ohio State game?
Yeah.
As a Columbus-born Wolverine?
Yeah, I did watch it.
We were kind of watching out the corner of our eye and trying to catch the score. On Saturday afternoon, I went out with my class of 85 class president, Jerry Finazzo. Went out with him and his daughter. We went out for a boat ride, and just a gorgeous day on Saturday. If you're watching us now, you can see what happens when Irish, Scottish, Hungarian people are out in the sun without any sunscreen. Yeah. But we're kind of watching at the bar, and we're like, what's going on? It's 7-0. Now it's 14-0. I know they're playing in Columbus, but
that defense is really good.
The Buckeyes have a brand new quarterback, and Arch Manning has got game experience, and he's with this monster SEC team. I thought Ohio State was going to start the season with a beating.
Yeah, but he had to face that vaunted Matt Patricia defense.
I saw that in the Free Press, like Matt Patricia called by Greg.
He did.
Matt Patricia's still around? What the hell?
He did. Well, I guess he was a good coordinator at one point. I mean, he's got Super Bowl rings with New England.
Sure, and Rod Marinelli was a good coordinator, just a terrible coach, even though his shovel was sharp and his resolve was strong.
Yeah, God. Lame.
Speaking of Super Bowl rings, Bill Belichick not off to a great start there in North Carolina. It sounded like it was a pathetic performance.
Game. It was awful.
Yeah. What does his girlfriend have to say about it?
You know what? She's been oddly silent that I've seen. So how convenient is that?
Yeah, maybe she should be running the team. Sounds like.
Do you know she just filed another trademark? She's got a ton of trademarks, but her newest one is Gold Digger. She's developing jewelry under the Gold Digger trademark now.
So she's in on the joke now. She's using this to her
advantage.
I think
she leans in because she knows how stupid it looks. The way she's controlling this old man.
Well, she's 19 and he's 73 or something.
Yeah, I think 72 and 27 maybe.
Yeah. I'm sure that she finds him to be a charming individual because everybody knows him for his humor and his warmth.
Great personality.
Although, he coached lacrosse here in Detroit for one of the high schools. I don't know if it was Brother Rice or CC or somebody
I didn't know
when
that.
he was coming up in his career. And people who knew him back then said, fantastic guy. People who played for him, I think some of the adults who knew him then, loved Bill Belichick, said he was awesome. Of course, that was a long time ago, but
before he was Bill Belichick.
But so have you ever been to Hamtramck on Labor Day?
I have not. No.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, they got the carnival rides down Joseph Campo, but the big thing on Sunday is the yacht races, and I'm assuming this is some sort of lame carryover from when Polish jokes were acceptable, that how can you race a boat when you don't have any water?
Yeah.
But these are wheeled conveyances that some of them look like office chairs with a push cart behind it. Others look like little boats. Some look like coffins. I mean, it's insane. And you have people riding them, I guess kind of steering them. They're not very controllable. And then pushing them at great speed down Campo while 1,000 people or more are lined up on either side, hurling water bottles, water balloons at them. Yeah, and it's insane. I put a little video up at freep.com. I'll have a link to that story on our website, mlsoulofdetroit.com. And it's nuts. I mean, they kids are like hurling water balloons. They're running out to grab the ones that don't pop in the street, almost getting run over by the carts. And it's pure pandemonium. And I was standing behind a dude. He said it was his second year. First year he went down there, he didn't bring any water balloons. This time he brought 350, went through them right away. And you're like, oh, okay. And then he says, but I still have Bloody Mary. So he's handing out Bloody Mary. He's like, that's the guy to stand by if you're going next year. nice guy. I wish I got his name and his GPS because I want to know where a guy like that's going every time, because I could use a little Bloody Mary after that high school reunion the night before. It was
that bad?
No, it was good. It's just oh, there we go.
Is this
There's
your
my
video?
Yeah, look at that thing. Looks like a snake
dragon?
skull or something, or
wait, and they go back the other way too?
They turn the corner, and our friend August Gitschlag is down there. He's dressed as a pirate, which just meant he took loads of abuse. And he turned all the way down. He tells him to turn around. It seems probably obvious, but I think some of these drivers may not be able to pass a BAC test. And then they go back, and then that's it. And somehow or other, they choose a winner. And the winner this year was Whiskey in the Jar, where August will be holding his Magnum party in a couple weeks. We're going to have him on to talk a little bit about that. If you've never been to the Magnum party, it's a ton of fun and a great cause and helps a lot of people. The reunion, I did a little quiz with Mark before the show. I showed him a picture of a absolutely beautiful woman who I went to high school with. Her name is Mary Kay, and I won't give you her last name because that may give it away, but I said, can you guess who her brother is?
No, I couldn't.
And he said, no, he couldn't. And then I gave him 5 guesses. And then on the second guess, he figured out, after I told him his first name is John.
Yeah.
And then after I said you get 5 guesses, he thought about it, and he got it. It was John Five's older sister who went to my high school. And I think I've told you guys before, John Five played in a band with my brother. They were the Blizzard of Oz. They played all metal covers.
Nice.
They were just metal heads like you can't believe. He had all the felt blacklight posters in his bedroom with Judas Priest with that screaming eagle coming down, and he bought all these, just hardcore shit. And I always knew when they were playing because they would take the choke collars off the dogs in our house because they would wear them. Yeah, because they were chains. And they played at some bowling alley on the east side. I think it was Falcon Lanes, and on Sunday nights was the Falcon Rock Fortress. But John Lowery, who at the time was the preppiest kid in the world, he was probably 13 years old. He could shred even back then. Now,
that's what I was going to ask. Did you know he would be that good?
I mean, I didn't know he was going to. I mean, nobody knew who Marilyn Manson was,
Yeah.
but I mean, he was such a good guitar player that I'm not surprised that he's making his living playing music. But, Marilyn Manson, now he tours with Motley Crue, did not see that coming. But his sister's a lovely woman, and one of many people is great to catch up with. The other guy who was in the band with them was a guy named Steve King, who was great guy.
Great author.
His ending was somewhat macabre. He was a bodybuilder and a virtuoso trombone player and a really good guitar player. And he could sing, although they got frustrated they could never win the Battle of the Bands, so they decided to go poppy. And they were trying to do the summer of '69. And every time they tried to hit that high note, his voice would crack, which was not only a little annoying, but they were rehearsing in our basement, and I was upstairs with my girlfriend, and it was a weekend night, and we're home from school, and so things are getting somewhat intense. And then every few minutes, back in the summer of '69, would happen. It's like you had to start all over. It was a real mood killer. But Steve was super, super nice guy. You probably know him if you like true crime, because he was one of the victims in the Carnegie Deli massacre.
Oh, in 80.
No, it would have been around 2001, maybe 2000.
Is there a Netflix documentary on that?
I think there is.
Yeah.
And I wrote the obit for him for the Free Press because I had just come back to Detroit. That's how I know it was in the early 2000s. But there was a woman who sold weed above the Carnegie Deli in New York. And if you've never heard of the Carnegie Deli, just think stereotypic deli sandwiches with like 3 inches of meat on there that you can't, you're choking on them. And Steve would provide security for her because, again, he was a bodybuilder. Kind of wonder if he was paid in weed. Don't really know. But some hoods from New Jersey came over there kicked it in. They knew weed. It's probably a cash business. They put everybody on the ground and killed them execution style. Yeah. Just a horrible. And Steve had a baby on the way, and he's just a great guy. And I think he may be the only symphony quality trombone player ever to have a story on the cover about him on the cover of some bodybuilding magazine and on some, brass music magazines. It's just a really amazing guy and just a horrible death. But those were the guys that were in the Blizzard of Oz, which they called themselves back in the late 80s. And my brother obviously went on to build bass guitars, elric.com if you want to check him out.
Yeah, so why didn't he find another band? Did he not? So, is it just too hard of a lifestyle as you get older, or?
Well, the thing about my brother is he is one of those guys who is very intense and who doesn't really worry about what other people think. When he was in high school, again, I went to Grosse Pointe South in the early 1980s. This was the Reagan Revolution. Everybody was wearing pink and green and plaid. There were a few outliers, but Alex Porby, who's been on the show, was one of them. He was at the reunion. It was great to see Alex, and so he just kind of did his thing, and he had this long hair. And, of course, everybody wanted, hey, haircut whenever he'd go through the halls. And it was kind of permed in the front, which is an interesting look, but not atypical in the early 80s. And so he just did his thing and ended up getting a scholarship. He went to Western. They got a scholarship to CCS for ceramics because he's very artistic. His art teacher was Mr. Pluhar, whose niece people know, even if they don't know it. She was the woman who died on Mackinac Bridge in the Yugo that got blown over the side.
What?
Yeah. So a lot of he's got 1 degree of separation from a lot of high profile deaths.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then he ended up going to Berklee School of Music in Boston. He kind of messed around building speaker cabinets and taking apart guitars. Became an amazing bass player, like one of the best slap bass players, not named John Taylor, that I know. And played in some bands in Chicago under the name Butterfat Mastermind. They have some really good original music. But he's one of these dudes where when everybody wants to screw around, he's all about business. Like, we got to rehearse. We got to get this tune down. We need to do this. We need to do that. And other people are like, oh, yeah, we did that, but now we're having some drinks. We're smoking some weed. My girlfriend wants me to say, no, we're going to do it. And
it almost sounds like he wanted to be a musician, but not a rock star.
Well, I think he's one of those guys that if you're on tour, would not be a lot of fun in the van.
Okay.
When you're going from town to town. I think chemistry is a big part of a band.
Yeah.
And, in fact, we saw a little bit of it with Gangster Fun last night. One of the trombone players and one of the trumpet players were getting into it on stage.
Wait, what happened?
One of my companions pointed out to me later that one of the guys had like an iPad that he was looking at. When it came time for solos, one of the other guys either moved the iPad or knocked it over, and so they were staring at each other, and they were beefing when they weren't doing their solos, and afterwards, and everybody's like, hey, that was a great gig. They're still jawing at each other. It's like, they really are gangsters.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah,
Nothing like a good band dust-up during the middle of a show.
Oh, yeah. But, there's like 9 or 10 guys in the band, and 9 or 10 guys getting along. I mean, anybody who's tried to go to lunch with 3 people knows how annoying it is to get something going. Now you got 10 people who got to rehearse, show up at the same time, who have girlfriends, kids, wives.
Isn't it always just one person that really ruins the chemistry?
No, but
usually.
I'm saying with 10, yes, there's usually one person
10, you're
who's
going to increase your odds.
Pain in the ball, but with 10, there's always somebody who's not going to be able to make something. And then everybody's going to be like, and then somebody gets a good job and is making money. He's like, I just can't make it, boys. And like, you son of a bitch, you sold it. So you can see how those things fall apart. But yeah, for all his virtuosity, he makes his money as a luthier, creating bass guitars now rather than really playing them. Luthier.
That's the name of a bass guitar maker?
Luthier. Yeah, I think it means,
I had no idea.
It means someone who makes instruments. Or maybe it's wooden instruments. I'm not really sure. But yeah,
but it made you sound really smart.
Oh, I know. It sounds even better in French.
That's the important part.
But he moved to Spain, and he was trying to move all his stuff there, like his workshop. This is like heavy equipment, and one of the problems he's having is moving his wood. He has all these exotic woods, And the Spanish authorities are like, I don't know. What if they're harboring parasites? And he's like, dude, it's wood. It's kiln dried. It's ready to go. So he's trying to move over there. And he's been getting killed with these tariffs. When he was shipping stuff overseas, he would get killed by the tariffs they imposed because Trump, started the tariff war.
Yeah.
And now that he's in Spain sending his stuff back, he's going to get killed by the tariffs because now he's shipping European goods back to the United States. I'm like, dude, you're getting killed either way. You just can't win with this thing. But they're nice axes. So if you're interested, check them out. So
now you can bill them for a commercial.
Oh, yeah. I think somebody was listening to the show when I mentioned him a while ago, and they said, hey, where can I get one of those guitars? And I think he went and bought one. No commission.
Damn.
No commission. So very, very heartbreaking. but yeah, the reunion was fun. It was great to catch up with people. I got to dance with Karen Howe, who I always thought was like the coolest, most beautiful, smartest girl in our class.
Is she still the most talented, most beautiful in the class? Yeah, just say yes.
She's certainly still beautiful. She's certainly still very smart. But she certainly lowered her standards with who she'll dance with, so that was kind of cool. But the Smiths United were playing, so that was awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she wanted to wait until the Violent Femmes came on. I said, well, the DJ will play some stuff later on. But yeah, so it was a very 80s weekend.
It's perfect for you.
And you said you've never gone to one of your reunions.
We've never even had
You've
one.
never had
or maybe
one.
I've never
Okay.
been invited. Maybe they have them.
So you haven't had the opportunity.
No, but I see my friends a lot. Enough. But you're right. I guess it's those, those other people that I haven't seen in years that I should see.
Well, and they combined the Grosse Pointe South and the Grosse Pointe North reunion, so to have a big group and get some economies of scale. But turns out over the years I got to know a lot of people from Grosse Pointe North, and so it was kind of cool to see them. And one of the North graduates, who I didn't know we were kind of peers in terms of age and high school experiences, Mark Reith, who was the owner of Atwater Brewery for a long time, and now he's got an alcohol energy drink, and he's got some new beers out, and he bought I think it's what's the local peanut butter that used to be around here?
Oh, Velveteen?
Velvet, yeah, he bought Velvet peanut butter, and I think he's going to try and relaunch that. But he helped organize this whole thing. He's a huge Smiths fan, so that's why the Smiths United were there. But it was a great time, and as I said last week, I've been recovering from high school most of my life, and I've now been to probably half of the reunions we have, maybe most of them. Oh. And it's like dealing with a peanut allergy by eating peanuts, so that when you are exposed to peanuts, you don't get sick.
Yeah, exposure therapy.
Yeah, and I think I've actually reached the point now where I'm over my peanut allergy, and I now want to have peanuts whenever I can. I'm hoping we're going to have a 45th reunion, and I'm sure we'll have a 50th, but it was a great time. And if you have reunion stories out there, please share them with us. But I think everyone's had a very different high school experience, and we'd love to share some of those stories, because I think it's the one thing that brings us all together. We may not have all gone to college, we may not have all even finished high school, but we all had to start high school, because I don't think you can legally stop going to school till you're at least 16 or 17, right? Something like that. So
I want to hear bad reunion stories.
Well, those
are the best ones.
Those are legend. I mean, that's the one where you got to kind of pace yourself, or if if you overindulge.
Yeah, was anyone overserved at your reunion? Was there one of those? Was everyone very well behaved?
I could not tell. I did not see anybody who clearly looked like they needed to be cut off.
Was there a bully or a mean kid from back in the day who showed up?
So I don't want to say a bully or a mean kid, but back in the day, the kid who I think was, well, other than the kid who sucker punched me at a party one time.
Deservedly.
Let's just say it was not without cause, but things escalated quickly and very badly for me. But I did prove something that I think I've proven time and time again, is I'm willing to get my ass kicked and come back for more if the other option is to run. So that was a life lesson. But the toughest kid in our class was not the biggest kid. He was not the strongest kid. He was not the craziest kid. He was a dude named Greg. And he hung out on the Escort, which is this little sort of breezeway between the old building and the new building, where all the burnouts would smoke, and have their jean jackets with the Jim Morrison Lives patches on them, and fog hat and the logo drawn in pen on their jeans. And I was always between, the jocks, the nerds, the cool kids, and the burnouts. I always kind of felt more kinship with the burnouts, but he would always hang out there. And he was, again, just this kind of quiet guy, but it was always known as like, do not mess with Greg. Greg will whip your ass. And so, of course, I never messed with Greg. And I think he went on to be a cop. And I saw him at the reunion, and totally chill, still slim, tan, like a dude who gets in a tanning bed, naked tan. And still looked like he would whip your ass. So I just kind of said, hey, and just kept moving. But
did he remember you?
No, I was pretty invisible in high school. So I think unless I ended up,
but you said
somewhere in his crosshairs.
That's the guy that hit you, though.
No,
right?
that's another guy.
Guy.
There's another guy. Right. Yeah, I was at a party. That guy was a bad dude too. In fact, I think he wasn't. By bad, Greg, I just mean, like badass. Michael Jackson bad. Yeah, bad. Yes, exactly. Thank you. This other dude was not going to our school anymore, I think because he had caused so much trouble. So he just had a high school party and, that. Anyway, but it's funny when you see some of these people who are really into tanning.
Yeah.
Like there was one woman who was, had an amazing figure, and she had one of those dresses where it's like no shoulders and no straps, just I guess kind of hangs onto your body either through, double-sided tape or because it fits your body so well. And she had ample cleavage, but she was so tan you could tell that she just tans naked, or she gets in a tanning bed or whatever, and just is completely brown. Which going to Grosse Pointe High School in the 80s, there was nobody there who was completely brown.
Sounds slightly cultural appropriation.
Yeah, and there's just some of these tanning freaks. I just never quite get this, but I'm like, but
I don't get it either. But then again, I'm pasty white. So.
Yeah, Greg was tan like that, but it looked good on him. Just if anybody's listening, just tell Greg it looked great. $1 million, Greg.
Yeah, because you don't want to be beat up.
Looked no, I think he was kind of they're all justifiable. There was never anybody who, there was no random, like berserker type incidents. I think if he thumped you, you either stepped to him or, you did something where a thumping was called for. So yeah, so that was pretty wild. But yeah, so we look forward to Shawn feeling better and rejoining us, and Erika getting back to us soon. But send us your high school stories. We'd love to have them. You can send those to mlsoulofdetroit@gmail.com. And if you've avoided these reunions, let me just tell you, you may find it cathartic to go and just find out that maybe it wasn't as bad as you thought.
Oh, plus you can see who you're doing better than.
Oh yeah, I guess there's that too. I don't. That's not where I win. I'm usually used to doing worse than everybody, but it was good. It was fun. Everybody seemed to behave themselves. So yeah.
Tell me about Luke Nowacki.
Well, let me tell you now. If you want to do better than everybody, maybe that's the guy you need to call, because I hear a lot of things. People tell things. I hear things. And I heard from the best of celebrities, if Donald Trump had won the presidency last year, it would be the end of our nation. Then I heard from some other people, again, I talked to people, and they said if Kamala Harris had won in November, it would have been the end of our nation. And, since it appeared that we'd be screwed either way, I decided I'd call Luke Nowacki for help managing my investment portfolio as the country implodes, or is supposed to implode, like the last days of Rome. I figured, what do you have to lose? You can't lose 100%, or you can't lose more than 100%. And if you call Luke at 248-663-4748, get that number again. It's 248-663-4748. He'll make it all about you, sweetheart.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc. Member FINRA-SIPC.
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc. is separately owned, and other entities and or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent.
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc.
Is it just me, or does it seem so quiet without Shawn here?
He's electric.
Can I ask a question? When you went to that high school, did they play new wave music? Are you stuck in the 80s? Well, we'll answer that question for you a little later on in room 7609. But for now, we got to tell you about some geeks of this past week.
Oh man, the geeks have inherited the earth.
Did I do that?
What a dork.
Does him wanting to play with us again mean that he's turning into a geek, or we're turning into cool guys?
Well, I came here after filling up my 1985 Buick Riviera. Of course, I am stuck in the 80s. And noticed for the second week in a row, gas was over $3. And I don't want people to mistake this as a political hit, because I think if there's a common denominator in Geek of the Week, it's that people are hypocrites. And where are all those stickers that said "I did this" on the gas pumps? When Biden was president, they were all over there, and gas was never quite hit $3 a gallon. Now it's stuck at $3 a gallon. I don't see these stickers. I'm not suggesting somebody should be putting Trump stickers on that said "I did this." I'm just wondering, do you not mind paying $3 a gallon for gas because somebody else is president? Let me tell you, when Obama was president, I hated paying $3 for gas. When George Bush was president, either one of them, I hated paying $3 a gallon for gas. So can we just all agree that this is too much to pay for gas?
I do. I agree.
And put the screws to the people in charge so we can lower the price of gas instead of saying, well, if I'm getting screwed during one guy, it's okay because I like that guy, but not by... anyways.
Yeah, you know how that works.
I don't want to think
I have
about
a Geek
how
of the
that
Week,
works.
too.
Well, I was going to be brief because
it's
you got
fluid related.
That does not stop.
All right, this one it's a woman named Lori Clark, which I'm sure no one has ever heard of because I had never heard of her, and she is
LC.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Self-described athlete who has been hospitalized multiple times for dehydration. Which you're an athlete, you burn off a lot of electrolytes. You need to refill. But the reason she is hospitalized for dehydration is because she doesn't like the taste of water. She's an online influencer as well, but she said water's been put on a pedestal as the only way to hydrate, but that's not true. People call it refreshing, but I've never had that experience. It's like slime going down my throat. I crave flavor. I mean, isn't water the most benign thing in the world to consume? She said, I grew up drinking Tang and Kool-Aid and Capri Suns. I was never dramatic about it. I just dodged drinking water whenever I could. I've ended up in the ER twice, both times for pushing too hard. So instead of drinking water, what do you think she drinks to hydrate?
Gatorade.
Coffee.
Oh, coffee. But coffee's a diuretic.
Yeah, exactly.
It actually dehydrates
you. Are you going to tell an influencer she's wrong?
No, of course I'm not.
Exactly. No, she knows what's up. So
wow.
I think that's the dumbest fucking thing I've heard all week.
Yeah, and you don't like the taste of something that has no taste? That's definitely Geek of the Week.
Is the water quite refreshing? No.
It is. It's
I've never heard someone who can't drink it because it has no flavor. That's kind of the point.
What kind of teeth does she have growing up drinking Tang, which is basically just sugar with some water thrown into it?
Yeah, well, did she brush her teeth with soda? I don't know.
Yeah, no. Well, Lori Clark, try Aquafina. It's spring-fed. Until then, I don't know. It's
just wrap it.
You're our Geek of the Week. Biatch.
There's an all-night party in room 7609. And you can dance together all night if you've got the time.
So listener Mike, who I ran into last night in Hamtramck, came up with a suggestion for room 7609. He wants to hear the same band that the incomparable Karen Howe wanted to hear. And Karen and Mike are going to have to wait because we're going to play Mike's tune next week because I have one teed up this week that I think really captures the weekend and where I'm coming from. Mike writes a little bit about if there's a screenplay about my life, blah, blah, blah. We'll get into that next week. But I keep thinking if there was a screenplay about my life, if there was a John Hughes movie, I think I'd be Anthony Michael Hall in 16 Candles without, hooking up with the femme fatale of the senior class. But because it was a weekend dominated by the class of 1985, we're going with Killing Joke, and one of my favorite tunes by these guys, and a great video. If you're a soulmate, you know what I'm talking about. It's called The 80s. Because as Shawn will tell you, I'm living in the 80s.
What's that song about?
Oh, man. So if you look at it, it talks about how there's war and how the East and the West are pitted against each other. And in the background, there's all the people getting rich off it. And they're getting so rich. If you're a soulmate, you see this. If you want to go to YouTube, you can watch the video on your own. At the end, there's some guy riding in the back of a limo, and he's putting a diamond bracelet on a dog's wrist because,
It's about right.
He's doing great. So if you know anything about Monty Python, there's an episode about the joke that kills, and it's one of these great skits where they have people in the trenches, and they'll have one soldier run over to the other side, and he tells a joke, and everybody starts laughing. They fall over dead. And they have to be very careful about how they use the killing joke, because if they're telling it on their side of the trenches, then all the good guys are going to die, so they can only tell it on the other side. And so part of the joke is they translate it into German, and so then they kill all the German troops. But when somebody understands it in English, it's like, they start laughing, and they seize up and they fall over and die. And so killing joke, it says the killing joke is like when people watch something like Monty Python on the television and laugh when they're really laughing at themselves. It's like a soldier in the First World War. He's in the trench, he knows his life is gone, and that within the next 10 minutes he's going to be dead. And then suddenly he realizes that some cunt back in Westminster's got him sussed. What am I doing this for? I don't want to kill anyone, but I'm just being controlled. And that's Westminster, of course, is where the government is based in England. So these guys are a great band, and it's
cool
one
video.
of those. Yeah, it's just one of those songs that kind of captures so much of that. And I hate this word, but I'm going to use it anyways. Zeitgeist.
Why do you hate the word zeitgeist?
Because at one time it was kind of a cool word, but then it became
And
one
now
of those
everyone
words.
uses it. No, I'm with you. I hear you.
It's like virtue signaling. At first it was kind of clever. Now it's like, you're just virtue signaling. So do you even know what that means?
So
You're
then
just,
no one is.
Yeah, you're just trying to take a shot at me. So we'll play Mike's selection in room 7609 next week. In the meantime, send us your song, send us your story at mlsoulofdetroit at gmail.com. We'd love to share it with everybody. Room 7609 is brought to you by the Caju Cafe, where there's always great music going on. Great food, great fun. They've got karaoke. They've got feather bowling. The beer garden is open. Muscle Beach is open. Wednesday it's karaoke. On Thursday it's the Jazz Jam with the Bill Meyer Group. Friday, Shattered, which is a Rolling Stones tribute. Saturday, the Detroit Doors. Can you guess whose music they play?
The Doors?
You got it on the first trial. That's
tough.
trial. Now, this is the end. That's, sorry, the journalism's theme song. And on Sunday, the Lamont Zodiac and friends will be there. Oh, God, you're not kidding. The people are like, no, when is the end? My beautiful
Sean's
friends.
not here.
The end. Can I ask a question? When is it going to be finished? Now I got a 5-minute digression. It's going to make it go on and on and on. Monday, Tasha Owens and the Stable Dudes open jam. So always something good going on at the Caju. To find out more, go to cajucafe.com. If you are out for the Muscle Beach Music Festival, we hope you had a great time, and we hope to join you there next year. It's been a big week. A lot going on. Football's back. Mm-hmm. If you're going to be in East Lansing on Saturday, come by and tell me what you think about our chance against Boston College. Mark, who's Michigan play? They're going to Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, we're going to Oklahoma, baby.
I'm
going too.
What's the smart money say?
On what the line is?
Or no, I mean, do you think they're going to win?
Do I think Michigan's going to win?
Oklahoma's been in a free fall since...
but they've got a real quarterback now in John Batier. They tore it up this past week.
Okay.
But I don't watch enough of them and the things I worry about with Michigan. I don't know how they match up with Oklahoma, but, going on the road against a ranked opponent, it feels like a loss.
That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. And do you have some crazy travel plan where you're sleeping in an airport, you're leaving at 5 in the morning or something?
I have a 6 a.m. flight out on Friday and a 5 a.m. flight back on Sunday.
So
to make the Lions game.
Oh.
To watch that, which is at 4. It's just, it never stops. But, I like traveling to see these teams, to see the other stadiums. I've never been to Norman, Oklahoma. I got a buddy who went to got his doctorate there, so he'll be out there and meeting up with my brother. So it's, it's almost like football secondary, even though it never is.
Well, that's for a lot of us, college football is one of the reasons to get together. Well, it's like our annual reunion.
I was just going to say that because, you talk about how my class never had a reunion, but I usually see them on at football games and
at the parole
my
office.
really good friends for fantasy football draft. We all get together. So
Yeah, no, we're doing the same thing. My buddy John and I are flying out to
going to LA, right? Yeah,
on the Friday at 4 p.m. Pretty reasonable. Then flying back on Sunday at 5:30 a.m. Which yes, and I'm coming back to get back in time for my hockey game. But
you're gonna be burnt.
But we have no idea when the game is because the way they dick around with these schedules. We're hoping it's the latest game possible, so we leave the game. Maybe grab a bite to eat, then go hang out at the airport. But if it's early, it's like, now what do we do?
It's not going to be early, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they could kick off later than probably 3:30 in LA. No. But yeah, we're hoping it's the 7 o'clock Eastern time game. So anyway, got some feedback here from Kelly. Kelly, thank you so much. I was trying to remember last week. Oh, sorry. First, let me thank the new Soulmates. Okay, that's that. We had a couple new ones recently. August was a good month for picking up Soulmates. We hope that you will sign up to support the show. You can find out more about what the Soulmates get by going to mlsoulofdetroit.com. We can also hit a link. You can also find a link in our show notes. But we'd love it if you could support the show because sponsors are hard to come by, and we got a lot of mouths to feed. And of course, we got to pay for the renovations. Drew maybe sending us a bill. I don't know. We have to find out about that. But I asked last week if anybody remembered the big December benefit show that used to be held at St. Andrews Hall. I don't think they do it anymore, but it was for a producer for some local pretty edgy bands who died very young, and I could not remember the name of it. Horse played there, and Kelly writes in, Steve Crass was the guy that people are honoring. She says, probably lots of people sent messages, but this is who Elric was referring to with the tribute concerts. You'll see from the picture, Horse is on the tribute album. And Kelly, thank you very much because that was driving me crazy. But if you liked a lot of punk bands in Detroit, a lot of edgy stuff, they all came out to honor Steve Crass, and I think raised some money for his family or somebody who was connected to him. But that was always a great time. Tons of shows. It was like a showcase. It was all jammed into one evening at the Caju. So just a little bit of feedback this week, and I'm not sure that this is really indeed feedback. It's from Matt Lyon, who says, "Hi, Michael. Hope this email finds you well. I was researching candidates that ran for office a few years ago and came across your effort. Are you planning on running for council again? If so, Fund Hero was raised and founded blah, blah, blah." Yeah, no, we're not.
Oh, another ad.
We don't.
You're not going to run again? You don't have to start.
I'm running from office. Or running after people who are running for office.
When I cleaned out this whole studio last Friday, I found a thank you card that you wrote to Brandon for supporting your campaign and promptly threw it in the garbage for you.
Now, was it because Brandon had made a cash contribution, or was it for the many cans that he contributed to me?
I don't know. Well, you're the one that wrote the thank you note, but just let the record show that Brandon appreciated it because he held on to the card for a long time. And then I threw it away because I'll throw everything away.
Well, we are very serious about supporting labor, which is just Labor Day. It's not really a holiday for some people. It's a chance to celebrate the struggle and to catch a well-needed break. But every one of we had special thank you cards printed at a union shop by union people, and envelopes and everything, and everybody who donated to the campaign, even if you made a $5 contribution online, you got a handwritten thank you card, personalized from me to you. One dude didn't get one, and I was dying because they were just like, "Oh, I contributed, I didn't get a thank you card." That's your biggest nightmare as a candidate, because when people support you like that, they're going to a lot of trouble, and you want to show that appreciation. And I was very conscientious about making sure everybody got a special card that had an individual message that was from the campaign. So that one must have got lost in the mail. I'm just like, oh shit, how do you convince somebody that, that you didn't just make that up? But if you gave $5, we almost lost money on the donation because the cards are kind of expensive because it was a small run. It took the time to write them. There's the postage and everything. So it was like, No, they really donated $1, but that's fine. We appreciate all those contributions, and the small contributions are the ones that mean the most, really, because those are people who probably that $5 means more to them than some fat cat who wrote you $1,000 check.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be nice to have it's
good to have both.
A $30,000 check.
It's good to have both if you can get it. So, although I did,
now you know why politicians are corrupted by donors.
Well, there's the guy who was my book agent came very close to selling my book. We didn't quite sell it. He had another client who wrote a book about campaign finance, and he was coming up in the 90s, and he was a fundraiser, and he said because of the exploding expense of running for office, campaigns shift from getting lots of small donors to going out and getting these whales who could write $1 million checks, and the whole fundraising operation went from, reach as many people as you can to write a check to put all your time into these big donors and getting the big checks. And then if you get the little guys, that's great. It's nice to have, but you could get a much better return on your investment of time and effort by kissing the ass and whining and dining these mega donors. And he ended up going to work for the Democratic National Committee when Howard Dean became the DNC chairman. This would have been, I think, in 96 or something like that, maybe 2000. And he thought, Howard Dean, small town guy, Vermont, he said, no, Howard, who was a righteous guy, is just like, how are we doing with those big checks?
Always.
Because they need the dough. So yeah, it's really a shame. But yeah, no, sorry, Matt Lyons. I will not be using Fund Hero. Yeah. We're going to Michigan. God,
that's so crazy that's what buried
South
him.
Carolina and Oklahoma and Arizona and North Dakota and New Mexico, California and Texas and New York, South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan.
Michigan finished him. Yeah,
that did kill him.
I play that for my daughters. Like, that's really what wiped that guy out. I'm like, yeah,
pretty much. Now
these guys say the craziest shit ever, and it's like, yeah, whatever, man. You know, they're new to politics. What do you want to do?
Now people love it.
Yeah, but So okay, I know we need to wrap up, but Howard Dean.
You have a Howard Dean story?
My youngest brother, he's a half brother, and I have to tell you he's a half brother because then you'll know I'm not lying. He went to Yale, and it's the half that isn't my genes that got him into Yale, and he's a great runner. Anyway, when we were at his freshman orientation, I was up there. I drove out there with my mom and with my brother Pat, and Howard Dean was there because his daughter was in the freshman class, and he was still governor of Vermont. And I told my mom, that guy's going to run for president. Watch. And she's like, what, that guy? He's just kind of this little nubby guy. I said, yeah, he's going to run. And he's like, oh, my God. And the other guy, and this is really why I'm telling the story because I want to get to this. The other guy who we saw who was walking around with his sunglasses on, who's also known for the, yeah, because at the end of the Who song was David Caruso. His daughter was going to Yale. She was in the freshman class. Are you going to class or are you just going to school? Have you ever have you ever seen those montages where it's his little one-liners from the beginning of CSI Miami? They're so funny, and it's almost like it's got to be a parody. He must just go up to people and just do if you're Christopher Walken and people come up to you and start doing that, do you laugh or do you get mad? You got to laugh, right?
Well, I feel like the best part about those intros isn't just the scream and the glasses. The lines are always the worst puns about murder.
Oh, yeah.
And it always made me laugh that some investigator would sit there and make a really corny, crass pun about, the person that was murdered. Like, that just gave me a lot of joy because it's so absurd, right?
He was killed and he was running late, and now he's late.
For life.
Yeah. No, I built a house with my dad and some other cops back in 1991. And you're thinking guys in law enforcement making lame puns you don't expect. Believe me, that's all it was.
I see that, but
working hard or hardly working every
But to stand over the body and be like, this is his last dance of life or something stupid. It just makes no sense. I don't know.
His body was found dead at dawn, and it's the dawn of the dead. Yeah! Yeah, so I don't know.
Anyway.
Okay. Well, we look forward to the return of Shawn and Erika, and we
get well better, Shawn. Even though he'll never hear this.
No, he's like, I always listen to those
get well
shows.
Better. Get well
so
soon. What am I talking about? My mind is so scatterbrained.
But yeah, no, and we hope you'll be back next week. Until then,
I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Well, you've got a lot more work to do here, son. You're kind of
and I got those trips.
Oh shit.
Okay,
let's do 2 episodes
more of a
now.
Shell of myself.
In 3, 2, next episode. Hey kids, it's your old pal.
Can you dig that?
I guess that's Cyrus. Okay. Cyrus, take us out.
Can you dig that?
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
I'm already way past the point of common sense here.
I can't quit now.
Mark.
I need you on this. It's a global conspiracy with key players at the highest levels of power. It reaches into the lives of every man, woman, and child on this planet.
You've seen more than you should know.
Then you must take away what he holds most valuable.
On Tuesdays.
The impossible scenario that we never planned for? Well, we better come up with a plan.
Take your greatest fear.
These people don't make mistakes.
Your most paranoid suspicion.
We have no context for what killed those men.
And your darkest nightmare. And multiply it by X.
There's no time!
So much for Little Green Man.
Trust no one, Mr.
Elric.